Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Donuts with Daylin. As you can see, we have our donut, our steady donut. It's about 7 months old now, and but it's holding up pretty well. I attribute that to the chemicals they put in donuts these days, which are just horribly carcinogenic, but very effective at keeping the donut looking good. We're here today to talk about bail, specifically a bill I have that would largely eliminate bail as we know it. Let me just give you a little tutorial on bail for those who haven't followed the criminal justice system closely. Bail essentially means that you get arrested, you're going to be eventually tried for whatever you're charged with, and so we want you to show up for trial. And so the theory is we make you give us some money, the state, and then you show up for trial and you get your money back. And that gives you an incentive to show up. The problem is that there's an inherent obvious flaw with this, as far as I can tell, which is that if you don't, under the current system, have any money, then you can't get out of jail, and you have to sit in jail for weeks, months, or years awaiting your next hearing or trial. And so there's a real divide in our society among people who get arrested. If I get arrested today, which is like a 40% chance, but if I get arrested today for anything short of murder, I'll be out of jail in 2 hours. I'll post bail, I'll be gone. But if a poor person gets arrested for the exact same thing that I get arrested for, they're going to be unable to post bail. They're going to have to sit in jail, again, for a long period of time awaiting their trial. This has a lot of adverse consequences. Number one, it's bad for them in the sense that they'll probably lose their job. They'll probably, they could lose their home. They could lose their family. There's an awful lot that you could lose if you have to sit in jail for months, number one. Number two, it's bad for society. Because A, they're sitting in jail with people who are charged with crimes for a long time. It doesn't tend to make you a better citizen to go through that experience. But more than that, it costs $40,000 a year approximately to keep people who are presumed to be innocent. Remember, these are people who have not been convicted of anything. They are presumed to be innocent, and yet we keep them in jail, and we pay for that, and it costs us a lot of money, and that's money we shouldn't have to spend. And it turns out that bail doesn't even work on its own terms. They have done what I'm suggesting in Washington, D.C. and some other places where they eliminate keeping people in jail because they can't post bail. And it turns out those people show up for trial at the same rate as people show up for trial here in our state, where we do have people in jail for that. And just so you have a sense of this, 65% of people in jail in Philadelphia right now are in jail not because they're convicted of a crime, but they're in jail because they don't have enough money to post bail and they're waiting for their trial. Statewide, over 50% of people in Pennsylvania jails are in jail because they can't afford to get out of bail. That's just terrible. So, what can we do about this? What my bill does, it would essentially eliminate pretrial detention for failure to make bail. So if you're arrested, the judge could still set bail under my bill. The judge could say, $5,000 bail, but you don't have to pay us now. You're free to go, and if you don't show up for trial, then you will owe us $5,000. So you still have a financial incentive, but you don't have to sit in jail for months. You can go out, go to work, go back with your family. Again, keep in mind the purpose of bail, because sometimes people say to me, well, these people are arrested. Maybe they shouldn't have committed a crime. Couple things on that. Number one is they're presumed innocent. Number two, many of them are actually innocent, and that comes out later, and the charges are dropped or they're acquitted of their crimes. So they didn't choose to commit a crime. But even beyond that, the purpose of bail is not to punish people. The purpose of bail is to guarantee that they show up for trial, which we all know that it doesn't do. So, my bill would say the judge could still set bail. Say if you don't show up, you have to post this bail. You have to pay us money, which you can't get back. But if you do show up, you don't, and in the meantime, you're free to go about living your life with your family. And so this will, in many ways, clear out our prisons of people who have absolutely no business being there. And we hear horrible stories. People who are in jail because they couldn't make $1,000 bail. There was a case this weekend, a kid stole a Snickers bar, couldn't make bail, wound up dying in prison. And we hear things like this all the time. It's a terrible system. We have to change it. And I'm hoping that you will support my bill and tell others about it. because we can't afford the system we have now, either in money or in human costs. Now, I do know that not Stephen Colbert, John Oliver did a piece on bail right after I did my bill. But he didn't consult me, nor did I get a cut of whatever profits he made off of that, even though it was my idea, because he's John Oliver and he's British, and so they get to do that. But this is a bill that's very important, and I'm hoping we can move this and move to a more intelligent way of dealing with bail and dealing with crime in general in Pennsylvania. Until then, get a good look at the donut, because it's not going to look like that the next time we do this. And we will see you all on the next Donuts with Daylin.